So the abstract which I'm going to present is phase 2 NRG randomized trial for the patients with P16 positive non-smoking associated locoregionally advanced oropharyngeal cancer. So we all know that 70 gray of radiation therapy with concurrent cisplatin produces excellent disease-free and overall survival rate in the oropharyngeal cancer. But in oropharyngeal cancer, HPV association is also important, and these patients have excellent cancer-related outcome with a high probability of long-term survival, and both short and long-term toxicities are a concern. So this trial, they have investigated de-intensification in a low-risk P16 positive population in a phase 2 parallel arm design. So they have randomized 308 patients, and the staging was done according to AGCC 7th edition. The eligibility criteria was oropharyngeal squamous cell carcinoma and patients with less than equal to 10 pack year. The stages which they have included are the T1 to T3, N1 to N2B, and the T3 N0 disease. For there was central review of all the specimens was done for P16 positive IHC. They have randomized the patient to two arms. The first arm was the concurrent chemoradiotherapy arm, in which the radiation was given as 60 gray in 2 gray per fraction 6 weeks with cisplatin of 40 milligram per meter square weekly of 6 cycles. The second was RT alone arm, in which 60 gray was given 2 gray per fraction at 6 fraction per week for 5 weeks. The radiation therapy technique which they used was IMRT. The co-primary endpoints were PFS and the quality of life. Primary hypothesis was one or both arms will achieve a 2-year progression-free survival rate of more than 85% without unacceptable swelling toxicity. The null hypothesis was neither arm achieved 2 years progression-free survival of more than 85%, while the alternate hypothesis is one or both the arm result in 2-year progression-free survival of more than 91%. Quality of life defined as a mean of MD-ADI composite score at 1 year from the baseline. MD-ADI is the MD Anderson Dysphagia Index. If the arm reaches more than 85% PFS, the acceptability bound for QOL is MD-ADI composite score of more than 60, 80% of power to detect a 5-point difference between the arms. So patient accrual was done between October 2014 to February 2017. The projected accrual was 15 patients per month, but at the last of the 6 months, there were more accrual of the patients, 16.2 patients per month. So the in contrast to the projected accrual, the observed was 308. They have taken 316 patients, 8 was not randomized. So out of 308 patients, 158 was in concurrent chemoradiotherapy arm and 150 was in RT alone arm. Due to ineligibility of the 2 patients, 1 in each arm, the 306 patients were randomized and eligible. Coming to the baseline characteristic, both arms were well matched. In most common age group was 50 to 69 years, in which there were 70% of the patients. Most patients were non-smoker, that is 0 pack years in both the arms. Most common subsite was tonsil, in which there were more than 50% of the patients. T2 stage was again more common, and N2B stage there was 61.4% patient in combination both arms. If we look at this, the treatment completed was more in IMRT alone arm, in which there were 98.7% of the patient, while in concurrent chemoradiotherapy arm, 96.8% of the patient were able to complete the treatment. Cisplatin, which was given for 6 cycles, only 56.1% of the patients they completed the 6 cycles, and most have received more than 200 milligram per meter square of the cisplatin total dose. Now, coming to toxicity, CTCAE acute toxicity grade 3 and grade 4 toxicities were seen. Most common in concurrent chemoradiotherapy arm. Most common toxicity was hematological toxicity, which was seen. The decrease in the lymphocyte count was most common. Some of the patients in concurrent chemoradiotherapy arm also have thromboembolic event, while the other toxicities like nausea, vomiting, they were less common. And dysphagia, sore throat, dehydration, these also were less common toxicity, but were seen more in concurrent chemoradiotherapy arm. Coming to the late toxicities, there were no clear pattern of difference between the two arms. The hearing impairment, which was for acute toxicity was concerned, hearing impairment was more in concurrent chemotherapy arm, but for the late toxicity, IMRT alone arm patients experienced more. The same was true for dysphagia, weight loss, and pharyngeal mucositis. Now, the percentage of the patient which required feeding tube, that obviously the concurrent chemotherapy arm, if we look at this graph, there were more number of patients that required feeding tube in chemotherapy arm. More of the patients were at the end of the 1 month. While if we look at IMRT alone arm, most of the patients that required feeding tube was at the end of the radiotherapy. The family PFS endpoint, the median follow-up is 2.6 years, and a 2-year progression-free survival was 90.5% in concurrent chemotherapy arm with a p-value of 0.03, rejecting the null hypothesis. While 2-year progression-free survival in IMRT alone arm was 87.6% with non-significant p-value, and it was failing to reject the null hypothesis. If you look at the loco-regional failure, 2-year loco-regional failure was more in IMRT alone arm of 9.5% compared to 3.3% in IMRT and chemotherapy arm. In contrast to this, the distant metastasis was more in concurrent chemotherapy arm of 4% compared to IMRT arm. If we look over in this table for the sites of the first failure, in concurrent chemotherapy arm, there were more of the distant metastasis of 35.3%, followed by regional metastasis of 29%. If we look in IMRT arm, most of the first failure were at the local site, that is 41.7%, followed by regional, that is 20.8%. 2-year overall survival was not significant between the two arms. It was 96% in IMRT chemotherapy and 97.3% in IMRT alone arm. If we look at the dysphagia scoring, there was no difference between the two arms again. Though the number of the cases of dysphagia was more in chemotherapy arm, the result was not significant. Come to conclusion, the compliance with this protocol was high and there was no apparent imbalance between the arms. The IMRT with concurrent cisplatin arm met acceptability criteria for both PFS and MD-ADI. The accelerated IMRT arm did not meet the PFS acceptability criteria. Higher rates of grade 3 and 4 acute toxicity were reported for IMRT and concurrent chemotherapy arm, but late grade 3 and 4 toxicity and 2-year overall survival rate were not significant. No grade 5 adverse effects were reported. MD-ADI scores were high and not different between the arms. So the next, they are also conducting another trial. In contrast to this trial, in this they have taken the early stage patients, and they are randomizing with patients, comparing it with standard 70 gray in 6 weeks with concurrent cisplatin, and comparing it with 60 gray in 6 weeks with concurrent cisplatin, and 60 gray in 5 weeks with nivolumab. Thank you.